Hello and welcome back to Factory Town. In the last episode we set up veggie stew and also are trading that veggie stew for jam here at this trading post. We're producing I think 2.67 veggie stew per second, and right now most of it's going directly into trading for jam, and that's because we don't quite have sufficient supply of veggies yet due to the affinity and growth rate. This tile shows a high affinity, but it's actually going down because it's an affinity for berries and it needs to be converted over to an affinity for carrots. So it should be more like this 6-8% maybe, 4% maybe. Just kind of as each harvest cycle goes, they'll lose affinity for the wrong thing, and then they'll gain affinity for the right thing, and eventually we'll be producing enough of these veggie stews to hopefully supply enough for the making or for the trading. But at least it's given us a pretty good where's it at? Here it is. Given us a pretty good score here. I mean, it's not nearly as good as the jam because of that reason, but we have a decent score here, which is good. And we're creeping up even more. Part of that reason though is because I built 10 more houses. And the reason I built 10 more houses is because we're at 786. We're at 786 out of 800. And with our next build, we're probably going to need all of those. So speaking of the next build, I did do the math for the remaining two items that I hadn't done the math for yet. Cake and apple pie. Specifically the berry cake. And as we kind of hinted at, the berry cake build is quite large. In fact, so is the sandwich build, but I don't know that I have the space without doing a lot of flattening in order to have that much of a build. We can kind of leave it open and see, but the other option here is to trade gold ingots for berry cake, which we had talked about doing by using this trading post here, and the gold that we were trading currently, fish oil for gold, to continue trading more of that, doubling this build-ish, because this is doing just over 4 fish oil per, no, just over 16 fish oil per, almost 17 actually, per second, which is giving us just over 4 gold ingots per second. So that's 4 trades in some change there. This is like 0.65, so we're at about 5 right now of our 10 trades possible. So if I set up another one of these arrays, it would get us up to the 100 or to the 10-ish. So the other issue though with that is if we're going to trade that gold, that either needs to be a boat that comes out this way and out this way, and then around these chutes. I don't think I made them up high enough, or did I? I did make them high enough. And then it goes into there, and I don't know that the boats have enough logic to be able to pull that off. So we may need to send it via train instead, which is reasonable and possible. We have a train station here, we have space in it, so we could send gold bars into that train station, and then to send a train down through town and along that way over to there to trade, and then trade for those berry cakes and bring the berry cakes back into town. So that's definitely an option. I'm not sure if that's the route that I want to go, or whether I want to build the berry cakes outright, just because we could in fact use that gold, that traded gold here to more effect because of the issues we're going to have here with the gold long term. And actually, how is that doing? Well, I don't know when the thing left. Is that it there? Yeah. So it kind of recently left. No, that's not what I wanted. That one right there. So I don't know that it's going to make it back with enough in time to keep it going, and if that's going to hold out long term or not. We could have just had a nice surge of gold production. So the next thing that I want to, or the thing I want to deal with now is to figure out what we want to make next. So looking at these, not these, sandwiches are quite complex, but we'll be able to set up the cheese nearby the sandwiches, because sandwiches require cheese anyway. So just double the cheese build for the sandwich, and then we'll have enough, and we might as well just share the station there. Fish stew we're going to make somewhere nearby water. So I think we talked about maybe here on this peninsula or something. building it here nearby, water someplace, meat stew, maybe flattening some of this, more of this land, or we have a bit here we could potentially use. It's fairly flat. We'll need to flatten it still, but I mean that we don't have to flatten very much. And then we're doing veggie stew, cake we just talked about, and apple pie isn't too bad either, so we'll just need a decent plot of land for that. We have this that's pretty flat that we've cleared a bunch of stuff out of. I really don't want more coming this way though. If I build one of the things like in here, I'm going to pull it off at this rail, because this rail is pretty crowded here with all the stuff going out here and into here also. So I don't really want to build more there. I would like to build as much as possible out here, but this land is just horrible without trying to make adjustments to it for large builds. So I want to start with the sandwich and the cheese today. And speaking of making adjustments to the land, I want to make adjustments to the land. Let's do a leveling here. And we're going to need a large area for these. I think we want to level it maybe here. Somewhere like this. Ish. And I think we're going to have to come all the way over here and maybe even more than that. Like, this is going to be a large build. We need to make bread, and we need to make cheese, and we need to make cooked chicken, and we need to make cloth for the cheese. And it's just a lot. Alright, so let's do maybe a little bit more here. Oops. Shifted a little. Problem with using the mouse cursor or the arrow keys to move when you're not actually square on the grid. And then we want to, of course, clean off what's here. And yeah, there is some grain here, and yeah, there is some potato here, but we'll just use how we want. We'll just build what we want to build. Not going to be too bothered by destroying things and recreating them. Why start now? So that's a nice clean area that still might not be enough. We can start figuring out how exactly we want to do this. So I think we'll start out with the train station. That can go probably fairly close to the rails. Maybe even right up next to that. And actually, I could push this out even further if I want to. But maybe right up next to that. And then going into here is going to be a kitchen. That's not how you spell kitchen. Hands in the right places. Kitchen making sandwiches. Sandwiches need bread, cheese, and cooked chicken. And I think we'll do another kitchen here for bread. And we're going to use the potato bread recipe, not the regular wheat bread recipe here. Grain bread recipe, because the potato bread recipe has a little bit less involved, and we also get the advantage of potentially using this area here where the potatoes have an affinity. So that's kind of a nice bonus there. And then we'll do another kitchen there and another kitchen here. Let's double check the kitchen numbers here. 1 kitchen for bread, 2 kitchens for cheese, and 1 kitchen for cooked chicken. So let's do cooked chicken over here, maybe. And I might end up changing this a few times, just as we kind of plan this out. And then cheese, we need 2 kitchens for cheese, but we actually need more, because we need to be able to send half of the cheese past this kitchen into the train station. And we also need to have twice as much. So let's do maybe something like this. Not that. Let's do something like this. I should move this one like this maybe. One possibility would be to sneak the cheese under the output belt of these two, or over the output belt of these two, from like these outermost two. That's one possibility. The other idea would be to maybe put the cheese on the side here, and put the chicken here. But let's see what other buildings we need before we get too deep into it. So 1 kitchen making bread. That's an air-boosted kitchen. Let's actually look at the sandwich recipe first. So 1 steam-boosted kitchen makes 6 every 3 seconds, which is 2 per second, which is what we're looking for. 1 air-boosted kitchen makes 8 divided by 4, 2 bread per second. So we need to have then 2 flour and 2 potatoes. So we'll do a grain mill, and that can go maybe in this neighborhood, making flour, and then a farm over here, and this has affinity for the potatoes. So I want to be careful and not put it where the potatoes are going to be picked up just yet. But because we have affinity for the potatoes in this arced area here, so as long as we're covering that bit, I think we're okay. And actually, let me take these out here, take this cotton out of here completely, and let's move this over a bit and down a bit, something like that, maybe. And then we need another farm over here for grain, and we have this area here that we have an affinity for grain. Yeah, there's an affinity there for grain. So that would be useful to use. I didn't take out 1 piece of cotton there. If we can use it. So that is, I think that's all we need. So we need to have 2 flour per second. So that is an air-boosted grain mill. And then that's going to require, 6 grain per second. 6 grain per second at a grain farm here means we need to have 3 worker equivalents, so we have 2 workers and the earth boost, and 26 farm tiles. So there's a decent amount of them that already have the grain affinity, and the rest will just make do. This is, of course, the potatoes, and we need to have 2 workers in here because we need to produce 2 potatoes per second for here, and 2 potatoes per second. Is going to be each one produces 4, so that if we earth boost that, that's 8 divided by 3 is 2.67, so that's fine. And that's going to need what's the number, 11 potato farm tiles, so that's not very much at all. Thank you, autosave. Grain there. And so then we can talk about actually let's talk about the chicken first, I think. Yeah, let's talk about we'll talk about the cheese. So we need to, I have my plan for cheese that's used in the sandwiches, and we also need the cheese that's used directly or taken directly to the train station. Each pair of these kitchens requires 1 mega upgraded pasture. We're going to build that in this neighborhood, and 1 over there as well. That's going to make raw chicken. No, we're making cheese here, sorry. This is milk. And milk. And then these also need cloth, which is kind of where I'm getting stuck at. Although the cloth we need is like 1 workshop, 1 farm. So per pair. So it's not too bad. And these are, by the way, these are fire and steam boosted kitchens because we're only producing 1 every 10 seconds. And we want to be able to produce 10 every 10 seconds so we can get that 1 per second out of each kitchen. Okay, so and then these are upgraded to earth, so they produce 4 milk. Earth will get them to 8, and then 2 upgrades will get them to 12 milk every 2 seconds, which is 6 per second. These are going to need to have 3 per second each. So that's 3 and 3 is 6, and that makes 6 there. So in order to make 6 milk per second at a pasture, we need to have 12 animal feed per second. So if we said animal feed can go here like this. Wait a minute, I think I need 3 of these. I do need 3 of these. I also should have done the copy paste. So in order to make 12 animal feed per second, this will produce 4 every 2 seconds. Actually, we could do this in 2 if I steam boosted them. Ooh, I think 4 by default. Air boost makes it 8. Steam would make it 10. That's 5 per second. And we need to have 12. So no, I have to do 3 air boosted grain mills. And then we're going to need to have 3 more for this pasture. So we're already kind of crowding ourselves here a little bit. Where's that affinity at again? Over there. Okay. So we need to space this out a little bit, but let's just stay in this line. And this is where it gets sticky. We need to have 2 farms, but these farms can be collaborative, I think. 2 farms for each grain mill. Let's see here. Yeah, each farm needs to have 17 farm tiles dedicated to it. So maybe we could do this as... Oh, I have an idea. I don't know if this is going to work, but I have an idea. Let's take this grain farm and let's start like way over here. No. Let's start here. And if we did these like this, and then we did... I'm designing this in my head as I kind of on the fly here. So I don't know how well this is going to work. But it might work. Oh, I need to go here. Here. I need to get... Actually, these can move. These can move over here in the corner. There. One can go here and here. And if this works, then I will explain what my crazy thought is. Still not going to work exactly like my crazy thoughts. But we might just have to rip this out in order to fulfill my crazy thoughts. Let's see what I can accomplish here. So if I make this flat area bigger by there, okay, so just past this this grain here, which we're going to nuke, by the way. Okay, you get out of the way. I'll clean that up too in a moment. Just want to make sure that I get this lined up correctly. There and there. And actually, I went one too far. Because actually, I went way too far, because that could actually be shifted over more. Is this right? No, this is, hold on, this is way too many. This is way too many. 1, 2, 3, oh, nope, this is right, actually. So I could shift these over a bit if I wanted to. I think. I'm like I said, I'm working this out in my head as we go, so let me see if this is going to work out properly or not. Actually, this might be too close. These probably need to get moved up some, which I think might be okay. Yeah, I think these can go... There we go. Wrong fingers. Wrong keys. This goes here then. This goes there-ish. Actually didn't have to go that far. Let's pull it back down. Wait a minute. Maybe they do. They might. Okay, so here's my crazy thought. And imagine there's another set over here. Here's my crazy thought. We need to have 30... I forgot what the number was. 34 farm tiles for each pair of these. And if you look at where these blue lines are, this tells us where the overlap is. So as long as we don't put the farm tiles for this one in this area here, which unfortunately is the affinity area, but beggars can't be choosers. And we only put the farm tiles for these two in this combined blue area. So let's start here. This is 7 times 4, that's 28. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Is that correct? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly what I want. Exactly. And I think this needs to be here. Or actually, no, these could be moved over some. Because we don't even need... 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need that space. Unless we need it for this reason. Let's see. I might have done a bunch of editing that I didn't need to do. Or, you know, leveling and whatnot. But let's see if I can make this fit with the grain mills and stuff. So that'll go up to there. So I could put this grain mill somewhere in this neighborhood. It needs to be... I need to have this tile here be a farm tile. And that's outside of that range. And I need to be able to take 2 chutes, or, you know, the width of 2 chutes, rather, like this, which can go here, 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 here. So that works out well. We'll do another grain mill right 2, 3 right there. Yep, right there. And then this one can go here, and this one can go here. Then we need to wipe out these resources. Some of them at least, but might as well do them all. That's funny. And then we need to have, that's 4, 5, and then another one over here, kind of mirrored up with this one. And this this grain mill here needs to be adjusted like that. So you're going to go in line with that. Right there and there. And this grain mill poking out this way. So now, these 2 pastures would go somewhere in here. Like this. And then we can put the cheese here. And then maybe I'll leave that space. But we also need to get cloth made here. So I need to figure that part out next. So the way that I have this is 28 plus the 6 is 34 farm tiles that are in the shared space between each pair of grain mills. They're going to output as a pair, or farms rather, 8 grain per second. So that's 4 grain per second each. So that's 1 chute each. I think 1 chute should be enough. And then those are going to... What did I do differently here? Do I want... maybe that? In which case you can be closer like that. Maybe. They're gonna then the grain mill's gonna output. Each grain mill is, looking for my numbers here, sorry. 6 feed per second. No, that's not right. No, 4 feed per second. Yeah, because these are 8 grains, so that's 4 feed per second. So that's enough for 1 chute. If we have 2 chutes coming in, we have 1 chute coming out because it's a 1-to-2 ratio or 2-to-1 ratio. 1 chute from each one of these 3 grain mills to each pasture. And then each pasture connects to 2 kitchens. We need to still bring in the cloth, but we'll figure that out momentarily. And then we'll have that. The cloth now, for this whole setup, for all 4, we need to have 4 cloth per second. That's just 2 workshops. So we could probably set them up over here someplace, maybe. Just set them down for right now. Cloth from cotton. And then for each one of these workshops, we need 1 earth-boosted farm growing cloth. each, and each is going to have 17 farm tiles. So we could even do the same thing with the cotton and have the overlapping shared area. Now the good news is that because these two are cotton and these two are grain, they're not going to try and steal from each other. So that's the really good news. So yeah, we need one farm, one workshop, 17 farm tiles, and these can just share. This is going to output 4 cloth. We'll have 2 metal belts, one going from this workshop to 2 of these kitchens, and one going from this workshop to the other 2 kitchens. And then we'll output the cheese on a height here that sends half of it to the kitchen and half of it to the train station. These guys are going to need fuel, and so are these guys. Let's look at the setup for the chicken now. So I want to make sure all this fits in the area that I have. Ooh, look at that. Nope, wrong one. It can't have a non-square area, right? Okay, so cooked chicken is made in a fire and steam boosted kitchen, so we can get it up to 10 per 5 seconds to make 2 per second. Yeah, okay, that's right. And then that's going to have a pasture. That pasture is going to be raising raw chicken at earth upgrade plus 1 upgrade. So it's 4, 8, and then 10 every 5 seconds. So it ends up being the same speed as this kitchen. That's 2 per second on the chicken, and then if we have 2 per second, then we need 4 per second on the animal feed. And 4 per second is another one of these boosted grain mills, which I should have copied. And this is also cotton, by the way. Should probably mark that. Is that it? Cotton. And then that is a pair of the same exact pair of boosted farms here. And these are okay because these are overlapped with cotton. And I think that's going to work exactly the same. Yeah, it's the 2 farms making 8 grain per second, which was what each third of this was doing, which is 4 feed, which is what exactly one of these groups were doing, and feeding that into that pasture. And I think this will work. Did I capture everything? We need water at the pastures. That we'll just have to finagle in one way or another. That'll be easy enough done. And then we need the fuel for these 2, which I can also get in here fairly easily somewhere, either in this empty space here or over here. Maybe this side is a little bit bigger, so that might be better over here. Let's count the fuel. This is going to be 10, so 10 fuel every 5 seconds is 2 fuel per second, plus 8 fuel every 4 seconds is 2 fuel per second, so that's 4 fuel value per second. Magma is 8 fuel value, so that's a half a magma per second. So we're good there. And then obviously we need all the boosters and everything in this mess, but that's going to be something we figure out later. And I think I have plenty of space to put them in. At least I hope we do. For later. So then we have water. You're going to need to have 2 water per second. So that's 4 wells, because each well is a half of water per second. And you're going to need to have a lot more. This is producing 6 milk, so that's 12 water per second here, which is going to be 24 wells for each one of these. That's a lot of water. But we're going to have to do it. So I think this will work out okay. And I think what I should do is end the episode here. Even though we're just short of 30 minutes as I'm talking right now, but once I finish talking, it won't be. End the episode here, and I can... Maybe I'll move that around a little bit too. And I can start, repeating down the farm tiles and planting the grain. And then in the next episode, we will hook up all the belts and chutes. And I'll bring in the fire crystals so that we can make the fuel. Make the fuel. And have them nearby. All the other already are nearby. Oh, speaking of which, I need to fix this chute as well. So I told you I would talk for enough more time to filibuster a little. And then we'll come out this way. Something like that. And then we'll come this way. But we have fire crystals right here, so we can bring those in easily enough. I will probably also see about setting up the crystals to make the what are they called? To make the or to do the fire boosting where we need it, which is these kitchens for the cheese. Although we don't know, maybe I need to try and figure out how long it takes to use one boost from the fire booster. That way we can figure out how many boosts we actually need. It's probably the better idea. Is that the only place I need? I need fire boosting here at this kitchen as well. I think that might be it. So while we have the fire crystals here, we could potentially set up enough boosting for that, although they're not far enough away that it matters that much. So I think this is where we're going to leave this for today. I think this design will work. I hope this breaks as many brains, many of your brains as it broke mine, because this was pretty insane to. I think it was pretty insane to build and design, but maybe I'll move some of this. I don't know. I might be able to move. I might end up moving some of this around a little bit just to make it look a little like these two, make it a little less crowded. But I think we're just gonna go from here, hook this all up next time, and then get sandwiches and cheese sent to the tavern. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you then. Bye for now.